The objective of this video training is to address the mechanism of enforcement as it pertains to the role of the board member in terms of what powers, duties, and functions the department and the board collectively are authorized to have in relation to professional and occupational licensing oversight for the state of Montana. What is enforcement? The act of compelling observance of or compliance with a law, rule, or obligation. For example, the enforcement of government regulations. Types of enforcement: fines, probation, suspension, censure, revocation, any other penalty or disciplinary action provided by law in relation to disciplining a licensee as the board, in its discretion, considers proper. Fines: a sum of money imposed as a penalty for breaking a rule or law. Probation: a sentencing option in court where a licensee may be allowed to maintain part or all of their license use under specific oversight and reporting requirements to the board. Censure: a formal statement of disapproval in the form of a resolution from the board. Revocation: the official cancellation of a decree, decision, or promise, in this case the cancellation of a license by the board indefinitely or until further notice as it pertains to the wrongdoing. Reporting disciplinary actions against licensees. MCA 37-1-105. The department has the authority and shall require that all boards and department programs require each applicant for licensure or renewal to report any legal or disciplinary action against the applicant that relates to the propriety of the applicant's practice of or fitness to practice the profession or occupation for which the applicant seeks licensure. Failure to furnish the required information, except pursuant to MCA 37-1-138, or the filing of false information, is grounds for denial or revocation of a license. Cease and desist, injunction, criminal penalties. MCA 37-1-109. The department may issue a cease and desist order if the department determines through the receipt of credible evidence that a person is acting, has acted, or is about to act related to a profession or occupation in MCA Title 37 without the license required to practice the profession or occupation, with a restricted title or designation of the profession or occupation without meeting the requirements for that use, in violation of a statute or rule of the profession or occupation. Cease and desist order issued under this section must be served pursuant to Rule 4 M.R.civ.p. The order is effective upon service. Proof of service constitutes notice to the person of the existence and contents of the order. The screening panel of a board or the department on behalf of a program may assess a penalty of not more than $1,000 a day for each day a cease and desist order issued under this section is violated. 50% of the penalty must be deposited in the state special revenue fund of the board or program, and the remainder must be deposited in the state general fund. A board, following a vote of its screening panel or the department on behalf of a program, may institute and maintain in the name of the state an action for injunction or another civil remedy in district court to enforce a cease and desist order issued under this section. Proof of inadequacy of a legal remedy or proof of substantial or irreparable damage from continued violation is not required. The board or department is entitled to its costs, including the costs of investigation and attorney fees, incurred in seeking a district court order under this section. A person who knowingly or purposefully violates a district court injunction under this section is guilty of a felony and subject to the penalties set forth in MCA 46-18-213. An officer, agent, partner, or member of a business entity who knowingly and personally participates in a violation of this section is subject to the penalties prescribed by this section. The remedies provided by this section are in addition to and do not limit the remedies and actions otherwise permitted or required by law. Disciplinary authority of boards. Injunctions. MCA 37-1-136 to 138. Subject to MCA 37-1-138, each licensing board allocated to the department has the authority, in addition to any other penalty or disciplinary action provided by law, to adopt rules specifying grounds for disciplinary action and rules providing for revocation of a license, suspension of its judgment of revocation on terms and conditions determined by the board, suspension of the right to practice for a period not exceeding 1 year, placing a licensee on probation, reprimand or censure of a licensee, or taking any other action in relation to disciplining a licensee as the board, in its discretion, considers proper. Any disciplinary action by a board shall be conducted as a contested case hearing under the provisions of the Montana Administrative Procedure Act. Notwithstanding any other provision of law, a board may maintain an action to enjoin a person from engaging in the practice of the occupation or profession regulated by the board until a license to practice is procured. A person who has been enjoined and who violates the injunction is punishable for contempt of court. An action may not be taken against a person who is in compliance with MCA Title 16, Chapter 12, Part 2. Complaint process. A complaint is assigned to a compliance specialist. The complaint is sent to licensee for response. A notice of allegations and opportunity to respond is issued. The department is obligated to provide a copy of the complaint to the respondent per department policy, and additional information is gathered. Once the response is received and complaint, response, or additional material is reviewed by legal, at which time, if applicable, the complaint is administratively closed, lack of jurisdiction, or scheduled for screening, panel review, and referred for investigation. MCA 37-1-307, Board Authority. A board may establish a screening panel to determine whether there is reasonable cause to believe that a licensee has violated a particular statute, rule, or standard justifying disciplinary proceedings. A screening panel is an agency for purposes of summary suspensions under MCA 2-4-61.